Epstein discharge? How much?
It's totally absurd. You
No,
guys are
sorry,
experts
you
at
keep
red
on doing
herrings
this.
and
You keep
distraction.
moving along.
No, not. It has nothing to do with Epstein.
It seems as though a lot of the criticisms that have been leveled by me and others in my space are maybe starting to find their intended recipient in Democratic leadership, in Democratic elected office holders, in the brains of them. Yesterday, Mark Kelly, senator from Arizona, accompanied by his junior colleague, the junior senator from Arizona, Ruben Gallego, former fellow United States Marine, confronted, I guess is the best way to say it, Mike Johnson. And I want to really try to express to you, to convey just how unique this is. I worked for the United States Senate for years after I got out of the Marine Corps, and it's not a normal everyday occurrence for a sitting United States senator to have a confrontation like this of really any member of the House of Representatives, but especially the Speaker of the House. It's a monumental thing that happened. And the confrontation, the way it went, is especially notable. When Ruben Gallego, right before Mike Johnson comes out, says the words that he is there to cover up for pedophiles. And we all know who he's talking about. He doesn't use the name Donald Trump. He doesn't say the words, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, credibly accused rapist of children. He doesn't say that, but we all know what he's talking about. Watch this, and then I'll play the clip that shows a fuller understanding of the confrontation and how it started. But here is Ruben Gallego saying what needs to be said, that Mike Johnson, by not swearing in the newly elected representative in Arizona, he's protecting pedophiles. He's covering up for pedophiles. He's running interference for people who abuse children, which seems antithetical to his claims that he's a Christian, that he's a follower of Jesus, that he's someone who wants to protect the innocent and the vulnerable and the oppressed. Watch this.
Let's be clear. The reason Adelita Grajava is not here is because Mike Johnson wants to do two things. Number one, cover up for pedophiles on the Epstein list. And number two, put his members in a really rough position when it comes to voting and extending these ACA tax credits.
We need more politicians to talk like this, to say things plainly, to not dance around and do the thing that I hate so much, that I talk about so much, this fake congeniality, my good friend across the aisle. Quit acting like you operate in a political, a programmatic political way. That this governmental order, this order that used to exist in politics, that no longer exists, quit trying to drag that out and make it be a thing. It's not a thing anymore. This is how it's not the entire, because it went on for minutes and minutes and minutes, but this is how it played out when Mike Johnson came out of his office thinking he was going to best these two Democrat office holders. And it didn't go well for him at all, because all he did was expose himself as someone who is covering up for, as Ruben Gallego said it, covering up for pedophiles.
Hey, Speaker.
Appreciate it. Good to see you all.
Hey, so his Congresswoman and the ours, and we're waiting.
Yeah, reopen the government so we get back to work.
I mean, but this excuse just keeps on moving.
Yeah,
Well, it's not great if you want representation.
Not last week.
no,
there's
hold on.
750.
Wait, let me answer the question. We're happy that she got elected. She's filling her father's seat. That's fantastic. We have a long tradition here and a process of how we administer the oath to a member. You know, you served here for a while. We're going to do that as soon as we get back to work, but we need the lights turned back on, so we encourage both of you to go open the government
Do you think we
so
do
we can
that
get everybody
with
back to regular session.
Republican swore the person in
No,
under the same circumstance?
the exception is there were two Floridians who were elected in a special election. This happened a couple months back. They were here on a day, they had their families here, they had a scheduled day for the oath of office, and the House was called out of session that day. They had all their family and friends here, So we went ahead and went through the process in a
Speaker,
pro forma.
with all due
Let me
respect,
finish. Wait, let me answer the question if you're going to ask it. And so that was the exception we did because the family was here. Ms. Grijalva, Rep-elect Grijalva, has not yet had a scheduled date because she was elected after the House was out of session. So I am anxious to administer the oath to her as soon as you guys vote to open the government.
You don't want to be on the Epstein discharge. How much?
It's totally absurd. You guys are experts at red herrings and distraction.
Moving along.
No, I'm not. It has nothing to do with Epstein.
Oh, no, this has nothing to do with Epstein. Nothing to do with Epstein. No, don't say that. I'm not covering for pedophiles, says the guy who's absolutely covering for maybe not pedophiles, but certainly a pedophile. You're covering for Donald Trump. It's your entire, the purpose for your existence, Mike. It's what you do. You claim with your flapping lips that you are a mighty righteous man of God, God-fearing man. Yet you protect people who victimize the vulnerable, the innocent. Let that sit with you. Who are you? You're certainly not who you claim to be in many facets of your life. We're finding out now.
They've emphasized that Antifa...
They're smart, but they're not smart enough. They have been covered departments to find the criminal...
A pretty remarkable thing happened yesterday during the Antifa roundtable that Donald Trump held. It really gave us a glimpse into how things operate in this janky-ass White House with Donald Trump at the helm. And it also goes to something I've been talking about with our shadow president of the United States, Stephen Miller, that I've talked about. He actually is the one who runs the Department of Justice. Pam Bondi is subservient to him, subordinate to him. We'll use that word. Marco Rubio is subordinate to Stephen Miller. Christine Ohm, he runs those three departments, making him effectively, I guess, the shadow president of the United States. I've been talking about this. And in this clip I'm getting ready to play, where Marco Rubio is furiously writing a little note, consulting with his boss, Stephen Miller, and then hands the note to Donald Trump, which takes him 13 seconds to read one single sentence. It really is just in one single clip, just a microcosm of all of the things that worry us about this presidency, about this White House, about these policies, about the inner workings of our government. It's remarkable. So watch this, where he hands him the note. We know what the note reads because photographers, they're on it. They're taking pictures. We know what it says. And it really is just a glimpse in. So watch this. Watch when you're watching it. You don't have to listen to Pam Bondi run her mouth. Watch Marco Rubio talking to Stephen Miller, and then watch him hand the note. And also keep in mind, it's one sentence that Donald Trump is reading. Take note of how long it takes him to read that single sentence.
A lot of the people who we've listened to over the last hour, they've emphasized that Antifa, it's not necessarily this big organized thing. It's a bit ambiguous. It's deorganized. I think that's one of the words that Andy used. What is the challenges of going after a group that makes it intentionally difficult to go after and find? That could be for you, the Attorney General, anyone up there.
Well, they're smart people, and they deceive. A lot of them are crooked people. A lot of them have been staying out of trouble their whole lives, and they've been bad from the day they were born, frankly. But these are sick people. Pam, go ahead, please.
Well, they're smart, but they're not smart enough. Oh, my microphone's broken. They're smart, but they're not smart enough. They have been covered by these liberal cities for so many years. And that's why we're all working with Treasury, with all these different departments, to find the criminal conspiracy.
Okay. I'm just giving... I was just given a note by the Secretary of State saying that we're very close to a deal in the Middle East, and they're going to need me pretty quickly, so I will take a couple of more questions. Please.
And that note said, we've seen the photos, you need to approve a Truth Social post soon so you can announce the deal first. All things relative to the functioning of the government must go through Truth Social first. That's what they're saying. That a post that Donald Trump's not even writing needs to be posted to the social media network that he owns before any announcement can be made about peace in the Middle East, about the ending of the genocide in Gaza, the famine in Gaza, the Benjamin Netanyahu created famine in Gaza. Rubio furiously writing that note. By the way, that one sentence, again, it took Donald Trump 13 seconds to read those few words. Going back to the other thing I've been talking about, that Donald Trump, he don't read so good. How does this make you feel about your government? Are you imbued with confidence that this is the crack squad on the case? This is the team dedicated to the protection of the Constitution and our way of life, our rule of law. Is this giving you confidence? Kristi Noem staring off into space, wishing there was a camera on her more closely. Pam Bondi futzing around with her microphone, not knowing how it works. Oh, my microphone's broken. I guess I'll just repeat what I said. And then, of course, everyone consulting with Stephen Miller, the shadow president of the United States, while our addled, geriatric, brain melting before our eyes president, the guy who was actually elected to do the job, looking at his notes, this looks like a good one. I can't really read very well, so let me take 6 or 7 minutes to read these 15 words. I guess the only solace that it provides me is the fact that they are so feckless and stupid that they're invariably going to what's a PG-13? They're not going to step on their appendage, or they're going to do it too often. They're going to mess up. They're gonna get in their own way. Their fecklessness is it's I guess our superpower. It's their kryptonite, their own failings. This is just an admission that they're absolutely weaponizing the Department of Justice against James Comey. They are targeting James Comey. Speaking of passing notes and how this administration works, this one's a doozy. You know me well enough, if you watch my content for any given time, that I don't necessarily consider myself a reporter. I guess some would consider me a journalist in some newfangled way. The new media landscape it's ever changing, ever evolving. So maybe I'm a journalist, but I don't consider myself a reporter because I'm not really reporting things. My job is to analyze and provide commentary on the news. And I think I do a pretty good job. Not to toot my own horn, but I think I'm accurate a lot of the time. And the other day, on the 21st of September, I posted this. Donald Trump accidentally posts private message to Pam Bondi, ordering her to weaponize the Department of Justice. I think I printed the thumbnail here. Yeah. Oops, Grandpa's DM posted publicly. And I got a lot of pushback. You're just speculating. This isn't true. This is too far-fetched. Many people who are even still providing the benefit of the doubt to Donald Trump and offering fairness and charity that's not necessary. They came after me for saying it. And now we're learning that this particular Truth Social post was actually meant to be a DM. The thing that I said on the 21st of September, we're learning from the Wall Street Journal that it's true. Here's that moment to fully cement me tooting my own horn on the 21st of September. I think this message from Donald Trump that I'm getting ready to read, this Pam post on Truth Social, this one here, I think this was meant to be a DM. I think this may be meant to be a text, just a private message to Pam Bondi, and it ended up getting posted. I mean, it reads like that, certainly. But Donald Trump right now is using the weight of the federal government to weaponize the DOJ against Democrats. He's dispatching the attorney general, who's supposed to be independent, fiercely independent, an arbiter of justice, an administrator of justice. He's directing her to go after Democrats. It seemed pretty obvious to me then, and now I'm learning it was obvious. The Wall Street Journal is reporting this. The Rupert Murdoch Fox News sister company is reporting this. Inside the Justice Department, where the president calls the shots, with an accidental social media post, Trump showed how much had changed since his first term. On September 20th, Trump meant to send a private message to Attorney General Pam Bondi, urging her to prosecute former FBI Director James Comey and his other favored targets, according to U.S. officials familiar with the matter. Quote, "We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility," Trump wrote. Trump believed he had sent Bondi the message directly addressing it to Pam and was surprised to learn it was public, the officials said. Bondi grew upset and called White House aides and Trump, who then agreed to send a second post praising Bondi as doing a great job. 5 days after the Saturday evening message, Comey was indicted. It's a hell of a thing to have to be right about, that Donald Trump is this 80-year-old buffoon who doesn't know. Like, how does it work? You got your phone, right? You got your phone. And you open up and you think you're text messaging, I guess, or Signal, let's say, you know, they love to use Signal, and you type it out, Pam, blah, 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 blah. How is it that you don't know that you're in Truth Social and not in a text app or in the Signal app? They're vastly different. Their user interface is completely different. You can't just chalk this up to age. Donald Trump has sent thousands upon thousands upon thousands of tweets and posts on Truth Social over the course of his time on social media. Tens of thousands of posts, maybe. This isn't just an age thing. This is a cognition issue. And it also, because, like I talked about last time, this is him stepping on his own appendage, like I like to, rather than say stepping on his dick. This is Donald Trump absolutely botching the case that he's desperate to go forward. This is just an admission that they're absolutely weaponizing the Department of Justice against James Comey. They are targeting James Comey. And it's not just me who says this. Experts. Joyce Vance is her name, the former U.S. attorney for one of the districts of Alabama. Let's see, the Northern District of Alabama. She was on MSNBC on Chris Hayes' show last night, and she predicts this case isn't going to move forward. It's doomed based on the clear signs that Donald Trump is targeting and weaponizing the DOJ. This is all exactly the things he bitched about during the campaign come to life, to actual fruition, because now he's at the helm and wants to be punitive. He wants to persecute people. Watch Joyce Vance, expert, give her opinion about where this case is going.
So look, Pat Fitzgerald has seen a lot of lawyers attempt to file selective and vindictive prosecution motions and fails. He understands what the law is here, and the highest standard for people trying to make this argument is actual vindictiveness, that the government had actual vindictiveness towards their client over the exercise of their rights. If this DM isn't evidence of that, I don't know what is. I think that this case will be dismissed on this ground, perhaps on selective prosecution too, which is the suggestion that the government is targeting your client for prosecution that wouldn't be brought against anyone else. In this case, everything the government does makes the defense's motion stronger. You know, the story we were all talking about a couple of days ago about the Trump administration trying to find a couple of beefy FBI agents so they could perp walk Jim Comey into the courthouse in front of the press. Well, that again is evidence of vindictiveness, that they're trying to humiliate this defendant, not prosecute him for legitimate criminal conduct. I don't think this case makes it to trial.
She doesn't even think it's going to make it to trial. Vindictive prosecution. That's the word I couldn't come up with. That's what clearly this is. And Donald Trump, because he's so focused, so hyper-focused, he also believes he is beyond any consequence, any reprisals whatsoever. And this is another reason why Democrats should not vote for any legislation that benefits Donald Trump, for any nomination that benefits or advances the agenda of Donald Trump. Stop promoting and helping this guy who's only trying to weaponize the government against other Americans. And Comey's not even a Democrat. Comey's a Republican. Or maybe he's left the Republican Party, but he is certainly not a liberal. He is certainly not a radical left lunatic like Donald Trump likes to talk about. I welcome you to this conversation. Where do you think this case is going to go? I would agree with Joyce Vance that this is likely going to be dismissed by a federal judge, based not even on the reasoning that Lindsay Halligan is unqualified, is not legally in her position. There's a lot going on here. Luckily for James Comey, Donald Trump is a feckless moron who can't do anything to even benefit his own agenda. Luckily for James Comey.
We took the freedom of speech away because that's been through the courts, and the court said you have freedom of speech. But what has happened is when they burn a flag, it agitates and irritates crowds. They've never seen anything like it.
We took the freedom of speech away, said Donald Trump, said a sitting, elected president of the United States of America who swore an oath to support and defend this document, to support and defend the protections provided herein. One of those being protecting the abridgment of the freedom of speech, the abridgment, the stifling of the freedom to assemble, to redress your government of your grievances. All of these things are enshrined in the First Amendment of the Constitution, and Donald Trump thinks he is a king who, with the stroke of his Sharpie pen, signed away our rights to freedom of speech. He said it in a meeting. He said it with his mouth. So all of these free speech warrior podcast bro dipshits like Joe Rogan and the Schultz numbnuts and every other one of these other morons, the Theo Vaughns, or all of these assholes who brought us Donald Trump, who served the agenda of Donald Trump to get him elected, they're now, where are they now? All based on the freedom of speech. Where are they now? Because he's saying it with his fat mouth that we took the freedom of speech away during a roundtable on Antifa, trying to root out anti-fascists in the country. That's the agenda of a fascist. If an anti-fascist organization, it's not even an organization, it's an ideology. But if your main enemy is an anti-fascist organization, that makes you a fascist. The same thing you tried to make the charge against Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and the Democratic Party during the campaign. Watch this remarkable moment that from the White House, a seated president announcing, we took the freedom of speech away.
Courageous journalists have personally been victims of Antifa attacks. Andy Ngo has been repeatedly beaten by Antifa thugs for his work in Andy is a very serious person, too, I have to tell you. I've been watching him for a long time. Is Andy here? That's what I thought. Hello, Andy. I thought that was you. You're looking better than you do out on those streets, huh? You look much better. It's nice to have you. You feel a little safer here, I think, maybe. Well, not that safe, because you have them. You have to worry about that. But thank you very much. Andy Ngo has been repeatedly beaten by Antifa, and including one assault that left him with a brain hemorrhage. Only days ago, Nick Sortor was assaulted in Portland by a flag-burning mob, and we've made it 1-year penalty for inciting riots. We took the freedom of speech away because that's been through the courts, and the court said you have freedom of speech. But what has happened is when they burn a flag, it agitates and irritates crowds. I've never seen anything like it on both sides, and you end up with riots. So we're going on that basis. We're looking at it not from the freedom of speech, which I always felt strongly about, but never passed the courts.
First of all, we'll readdress the taking the freedom of speech away thing. Andy Ngo, by the way, if you don't know who Andy Ngo is a fascist himself. He is not a journalist. He is not an independent journalist. He is a facilitator of fascism and white supremacist violence against Americans. There are all kinds of videos of him coordinating with violent white supremacists who are on the hunt for liberals, Democrats, non-racist protesters. That's a thing. That footage is out there. And he is now an honored invitee to the White House, where he's praised by our fascist president, Donald Trump. Nick Sartor got arrested in Portland for being an instigator, an agitator, for harassing people, for putting his hands on people. And he's invited to the White House to tell his valiant tale of what a patriot he is against Antifa. Listen, you cannot believe a man, Donald Trump, who says that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are radical left lunatics. We have middle of the road corporate Democrats leading this party, and Donald Trump would have you believe that they're radical left lunatics. So if that's what he believes, what do you think he believes about all these other things? He does truly believe he has king-like powers to sign an executive order that somehow nullifies the Constitution of the United States itself, which clearly he does not possess that power. His executive order setting sentencing guidelines for burning the American flag, which is absolutely ruled on by the Supreme Court. It is settled precedent that you can burn the flag. You could burn the piece of cloth that happens to have blue field of white stars and red and white stripes. It's a symbol of the power and strength of the United States, is it not? Is the symbol of the power and strength of the United States so weak? Is the country so weak that it can't withstand some criticism in the form of political speech where a flag is burned? Trump, is your America so minuscule? And is the country as insecure as you are? Is it as weak and fragile as your ego and your self-esteem, Donald Trump? My America's not. Am I a fan of flag burning? I don't care. I don't care. It's a symbol. It's like, if I rip this in half, does this mean I hate this video? Or does it mean I hate Donald Trump? Because all this is a quote from Donald Trump. But how about that? Let's address it. And we've made it 1-year penalty for inciting riots. We took the freedom of speech away because that's been through the courts. Proudly proclaiming that he took the freedom of speech away. And where are the Republicans who claim? Where's Ted Cruz and Rand Paul, who always break out the Constitution out of their pocket and it's all tattered and frayed like it's been read like the family Bible, worn over. There's Sharpie inside where they've highlighted things like I highlight things, and they've written notes. Oh, I'm such a fan and a protector of the Constitution. Where are they right now? After Donald Trump proclaimed he took the freedom of speech away. Their silence speaks volumes, does it not? Their adherence to the thing that they claim they adhere to, that doesn't exist, speaks volumes. Their loyalty to the dear leader is what you should be paying attention to. Their absolute blind loyalty to the cult leader. That's what you should be paying attention to. Anyway, I'll stop telling you what you need to pay attention to and let you make up your mind for yourself. Let's talk about it in the comments. You can also call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com.
You're not going to talk to me. You're not going to talk to me and talk over me
New York residents
because you don't want to hear what I have to say.
Oh, I'm listening.
So why don't you just keep your mouth shut?
When political leaders are not living up to our expectations, not living up to the standards by which we believe they should be behaving, we need to criticize them. On the other side of that coin, when they do live up to the way we believe they should be acting, we should praise them. We should tell them, yes, more of this. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. And that's what this video is about, is me praising Hakeem Jeffries, something that I didn't think I'd be doing, because he doesn't do a very good job for the most part. But hopefully there's going to be enough praise of his actions yesterday in a conversation with Mike Lawler, the bearded Trump supplicant, the I'm a moderate Republican, but have never had a cross word to say about the dear leader. I have nothing to say about the fascism. I have nothing to say about the kidnapping and disappearance of people on the streets of America, including American citizens. I have nothing to say about that, but I'm a moderate Republican. Mike Lawler. And Hakeem Jeffries, they had a back and forth, and Hakeem Jeffries says the words, "You're not going to talk over me. Keep your mouth shut." Now, he didn't say it with the gravelly Alex Jones-esque thing that I am unfortunately plagued with when I open my mouth, and this is the sound that comes out. But he said the words, "You're not going to talk over me. You keep your mouth shut." We need more of this energy from Democrats, more especially from leaders. They get run over. They get abused by Republicans day after day after day, which imbues Donald Trump and this administration and the agenda with power, with legitimacy, when it has none. It does not have legitimacy. Watch this from Hakeem Jeffries. I'll play up until the moment with the exchange. We'll talk about it a little bit, and then I'll play the rest of it, because it gets better even after he tells him to keep his mouth shut.
Did you get permission from your boss?
Why don't we sign on right now?
Did your boss, Donald Trump?
You can easily extend
the
ACA right now.
Did your boss, Donald Trump, give you permission? Yes, he is.
No, he's not. And by the way,
so let me ask you a
why
question.
did you vote to shut the government down? Why did you vote to shut it down?
Let me ask you a question.
For years, you always lectured about how we need to keep the government open.
You're making a show of this to make yourself relevant.
It's sad. You could easily sign on to this.
You're embarrassing yourself right now.
You could sign on to this. The only embarrassment here is you.
You're an embarrassment.
You could sign on to the bill.
Let me ask you a question.
You have 4 Democrats on here. Why won't you sign on to it?
Let me ask you a question.
It's a clean extension for 1 year.
You voted for the one big ugly bill, correct?
I voted for a tax cut bill that gave the largest tax cut to Americans in history, including, by the way, the average New Yorker getting a $4,000 tax cut. Are you against that?
You're embarrassing yourself right now.
Do you want to cut the standard deduction in half?
The largest cut to Medicaid in
No, we
American
voted
history.
out
You voted
waste,
for that.
fraud, and abuse, by the
You
way.
voted
Tom DiNapoli, the
for a
Democratic
permanent-
controller of New York,
Let me ask you a question.
pointed out that $1.2
If
billion were wasted.
Listen, you're not going to talk to me. You're not going to talk to me and talk over
non-New
me
York residents
because you don't want to
getting
hear what I have to say.
Oh, I'm listening.
So why
Go
don't you
ahead.
just keep your mouth shut?
Oh,
because you
is
showed up.
Is that the way?
Who believes? First of all, again, thank you, Hakeem. Thank you, Leader Jeffries. We need more of this. And I hope that there's enough content creators, commentators, political analyzers out there who will be giving praise to Hakeem Jeffries, and he sees it and he recognizes this is the path forward. This is the way to actually provide pushback against Donald Trump, is to deal with his underlings, with his minions. And you heard how Mike Lawler responded when he said, is this what your boss wants? Donald Trump's your boss? No, he's not. No, he's not. Yes, the fuck he is, Mike Lawler. You are a high priest in the cult of Donald Trump. You do what he says. You lie his lies. You tell his tales. You're silent when criticism is necessary. Yes, you are Donald Trump's lapdog. So this is how the exchange played out. We'll replay the shut your mouth moment and let it continue so you could see. And it went on for much longer than I'm going to play here. But again, this is the overarching theme. In my opinion, we need more of this energy from political leaders. I don't know if Chuck Schumer has it in him, being his advanced age and just how he's operated. You know, it's kind of a teaching an old dog new tricks kind of a thing. I don't know that he has it in him, but I would have said that about Hakeem Jeffries yesterday until I saw this. So maybe there is hope. Maybe there's hope. Watch how the rest of this exchange played out, or at least a couple more minutes of it.
Let me ask you a question.
Pointed out that $1.2 billion were wasted.
Listen, you're not going to talk to me. You're not going to talk to me and talk over
non-New
me
York residents
because you don't want to hear what I have to say.
Oh, I'm listening.
So why don't
Go
you
ahead.
just keep your mouth shut?
Oh,
because you
is
showed up.
Is that the way to talk?
You showed up.
Yeah.
And so you voted for this one
I
big
signed
ugly
on
bill.
for this. You can extend it right now.
A permanent extension of massive tax breaks for your billionaire donors.
So 90% of Americans.
So they can get a permanent extension.
90% of Americans take the standard deduction.
Is that right?
90% of Americans take the standard deduction.
Is that
right?
right?
If you had your way, the standard deduction would have been cut in half. That would have been a massive tax increase on Americans all across the country.
You're
You support
here,
that?
unfortunately.
You're against lifting the cap on salt.
Of your billionaire donors.
The billionaire donors lifting the cap on
correct.
salt. We put a income cap in place.
Why are you here right now?
An
Where
income
the
cap.
re- where the rest
Didn't
of
you
your
want all
Republican
Republicans
colleagues?
to be here?
Where
I'm
the rest-
here.
where are the rest of your
You wanted
Republican colleagues?
Republicans to be here. I'm here.
Why are you
And by
here?
the way,
What?
you can pass an ACA extension right now. Sign
your
on to this
boss-
bill.
Did your boss
Sign
Donald
on
Trump-
to the bill.
Is your boss Donald Trump behind that? yet?
HR 5145. Why don't you get on it?
Mike, is your boss Donald Trump behind that?
Why
yet?
won't you get on it?
Because you don't work for the American people.
Oh, I do. I
You
work
don't
for the people of New
the
York.
state
I work for the
district.
people of my district.
Is that why you? Is that
I'm
why
here.
You got 145,000
And by the way, I voted
people
for
on
a
Medicaid.
clean CR to keep the government open
Mike,
and funded.
you're-
You voted to shut it
You're
down.
embarrassing yourself right
Yeah,
now.
leader, with all due
Well, as we
respect,
would say
you're the
back in
one.
Why are you playing yourself?
You're the one
Why are you
who
playing
actually
yourself with
voted
these
to shut
theatrics?
the government down.
Actually, you
It's
know
sad.
that's not true.
It's sad. You voted to shut the government
Listen,
down.
Do Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the President?
Right, and
correct?
you're smart enough to know
Is
that you
right?
need 60 votes in the Senate,
Is
right?
that right? No.
Do you need 60 votes in the
Were
Senate or no?
60 votes needed to pass your one big ugly bill?
Reconciliation, which you
Was
did with
six-
the IRA,
was
and
60
boy, that really reduced inflation.
Are you
did a
trying to
great job
elevate
there.
yourself because you're afraid
I'm not
you're
trying to
about lose
elevate myself.
re-election?
No, I'm not going to lose
Let me ask you a
re-election.
question.
You spent $42 million last cycle.
Mike,
You didn't do
Mike,
that
let me
great.
ask you a question. Why aren't you running for governor right now? You spent-
Because I
you spent a
actually
year and a half.
enjoy this job, and I'm here to do
You
it. And
enjoy
by the
it?
way,
You
and by the way,
you
you could
enjoy
actually
embarrassing
pass.
yourself?
Pretty good. I also want to note this. You notice the little DJI mic on Mike Lawler's collar on his lapel? He went there for this moment. He's mic'd up by his staff for this moment. Hakeem Jeffries just, I guess, happened to come by. And I'm glad, hopefully, this may communicate this, that Hakeem Jeffries actually has this in him naturally, and he subdues it. And if that's the case, great. Be you, Hakeem. Do you. You do you. We like that. We need more of that. More, whatever your natural inclination is, if indeed it is your natural inclination, we need that. Not with these washed and laundered talking points from consultants and strategists. If this is you, be you. The American people need that. The country itself needs that. The Constitution of the United States needs that. It demands that to be saved. What do you think? Am I wrong? Do we need more aggression from our leaders in the Democratic Party or not?
As a Republican, I'm very disappointed in my party, and I'm very disappointed in you because you do have the power to call the House back. You did that, or you refused to do that just for a show. I am begging you to pass this legislation. My kids could die.
First of all, I want to give a shout out, a little hat tip of the hat to Aaron Rupar on Twitter. This is where I found this clip. There are a lot of people out there who do solid work. I talk about Right-Wing Watch, people who sit through hours of fascist rhetoric and white supremacist talk to provide the clips that a lot of these people do. And Aaron Rupar over on Twitter and Blue Sky and Threads, he absolutely is one of these characters. Asen over there too, I think he works for Midas Touch now. He's another one. They do great work. So if you're in a position to support what they do, please do. But that's where I found this clip. I just want to say that at the top of the video. It's a beautiful thing to watch Mike Johnson, who's out there on he is out putting himself out there on this abuse tour where even Republicans in this case, he's on C-SPAN and a Republican caller just eats his lunch. And I want to talk about the things she says. I want to talk about her situation. I want to question why on earth is she a Republican? Certainly we're going to talk about that. But watch the panic, watch the inability to deal with what is taking place. Even while the question is being formulated, there is fear in the eyes. It's a scrambling brain trying to figure out what he's going to say. You would think he would be better at this being Speaker of the House of Representatives. He's not. This would seem like an ambush, like a gotcha moment, but he volunteered to show up and take calls that are unscreened. He did this to himself. But this is a beautiful moment, and I'm very here for it. So let's talk about it on the other side.
Hi, Mr. Johnson. So my question or comments are related to what you said yesterday about not being open to pass any legislation to ensure that military gets paid. I'm sure you can tell by my voice I'm very shaky. Just want you to hear a little bit about my family. I have 2 medically fragile children. I have a husband who actively serves this country. He suffers from PTSD from his 2 tours in Afghanistan. If we see a lapse in pay come the 15th, my children do not get to get the medication that's needed for them to live their life, because we live paycheck to paycheck. I heard you earlier say that you side with President Trump on anything that he says. Well, I just read an article this morning that said he absolutely wholeheartedly believes that there needs to be legislation put in so that we do not miss a paycheck. You have the power to do that. And as a Republican, I'm very disappointed in my party, and I'm very disappointed in you because you do have the power to call the House back. You did that, or you refused to do that just for a show. I am begging you to pass this legislation. My kids could die. We don't have the credit because of the medical bills that I have to pay regularly. You could stop this, and you could be the one that could say military is getting paid. And I think that it is awful, and the audacity of someone who makes 6 figures a year to do this to military families is insane.
All right, Samantha.
Samantha, I'm so sorry to hear about your situation. The reason I've been so angry this week, and they've been calling me out on media, Johnson's angry. I am angry because of situations just like yours. I have a big military district, and my district is the home of the Global Strike Command at Barksdale Air Force Base and Fort Polk, the Joint Readiness Training Center. I have one of the biggest military districts and military families in America. I have a lot of airmen and soldiers who are deployed right now, and they have young families at home, and they have children in health situations like yours. This is what keeps me up at night. I want you to hear something very clearly. The Republicans are the ones delivering for you. We had a vote to pay the troops. It was the continuing resolution 3 weeks ago. Every single Republican but 2 voted to keep the government open so that your paycheck can flow. Every Democrat in the House, except for 1, voted to close it. The Democrats are the ones that are preventing you from getting a check. If we did a vote on the floor to pay troops, it's not a lawmaking exercise because Chuck Schumer is going to hold that up in the Senate. He is demonstrating by voting now 6 times to keep the government closed that he does not want the troops to be paid. And you should listen to his comments last night, as reported this morning. He is enjoying this. He said every day gets better for us, quote unquote. Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are preventing your family from getting the care they need, not Republicans, and my heart goes out to you.
Now, of course, he's going to whine and act like, oh, I am angry because of situations just like yours, he says. First, let me address the lady, the caller from Virginia, the woman with 2 medically fragile or medically vulnerable children. I don't remember the exact language that she used. Her husband, who is actively serving his country, it sounded like from several references, on active duty in the United States military. Why are you a Republican? Why are you continuing to jeopardize the health and well-being of your kids, of your family, of your husband by voting to advance the agenda of these ghouls? You're voting directly contrary to your own interest if you vote for Republicans. Do you think it's Republicans who want to strengthen the position of the healthcare of your children? Do you think it's Republicans that want to help bring drug costs down? Or is it Republicans like Mike Johnson, who makes the six-figure salary you talked about, who are cramming through wild, irresponsible tax cuts for billionaires? Have you ever seen the chart that shows what they've cut from SNAP, from food stamps, and from food assistance, and from Social Security programs, social safety net programs, and the cuts map directly on to the tax benefits for the billionaires and the 1% in this country? It's like just a direct correlation. It's a swap. We're going to stop paying for this stuff so we can pay for the tax cuts for billionaires. That's what you're voting for. If you get bamboozled by all the culture war nonsense, be a better voter, be a more informed voter. Your kids are depending on your information that you have, that you bring on board to make decisions when you vote. Your husband's life depends upon it. But Mike Johnson, what is he doing? Does he have some kind of a warped sense of his ability to communicate? Does he think that he's some kind of a rhetorical juggernaut? He can't be stopped? No questions too complex. Because obviously, that is not the case. That was not the case in this clip. This is a Republican criticizing him, a random caller on a C-SPAN show. Imagine what the sentiment is all across the country from people from all different climes, all different stations, all different areas of the country who are feeling the pain that is being inflicted on the country, on their families by Republicans. They can act like they don't want this shutdown, but it's hard to do that when Donald Trump is out here celebrating. He's out here bragging about how he's going to fire hundreds of thousands of more federal workers. How it's great because it punishes the Democrats. He's going to end Democrat agencies, he says. He's gleeful about this. It rings hollow. It falls on deaf ears, whatever the metaphor is that you want to use. When they act like this is the Democrats who did this. We didn't want this. Yeah, you did. Your leader, the dear leader, your president is celebrating the shutdown. And Republicans are starting, there's a glimmer of hope here that they're starting to catch on, as evidenced by this woman from Virginia whose husband is in the active duty serving the military. Children who are medically vulnerable, medically fragile. More of this. Keep doing C-SPAN hits, Mike. Please keep getting out there and doing interviews, brother. It's really moving the needle for us. We love it. Anyway, what do you think? I would appreciate your feedback here. You can comment below the video wherever you're watching it. You can also call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. I will end today by asking for your support. If I was to marshal the size of my growing audience and we can get 1%, 2% of people to donate $2 a month, we could grow this operation fundamentally, structurally change what we do, how many people we reach, the manner with which we reach them. And you can help me produce this content. I would appreciate it very much. You can click the join button below the video on YouTube to become a channel member. Again, $1.99, or even better, because they take way less of a percentage, go to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. And there you can sign up to be a patron. Anyway, I love and appreciate you very much. I will see you next time. Be genuine and take care of one another.